Life's never that bad. A conversation.
Never
Yeah, maybe
that
that's what it would
bad.
be called.
A
Life's never that
conversation.
bad. Colon. A conversation.
Nah, that's fire. That's fire. I think I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, the idea of this starting it and just being like, in terms of this interview, is like, again, it's just a conversation. We don't have to start it any which way, anywhere. But I like to start it by giving you your flowers, man.
Oh shit.
This album's really good.
Thanks,
And
man.
I'm a hater.
I'm proud.
I'm a hater. Like, I'm just.
And I hated this shit. This shit was garbage.
I'm a natural born hater, man, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna say. I know when you sent it to me, I was like, hey, got the album, yada yada, and I didn't say anything about it. And I didn't want you to feel away like, yo,
Sure,
like,
sure.
is he hating on it? Like,
No, I didn't think so. I
yeah.
figured like maybe we'll just save it for actual having the conversation.
Exactly,
but-
exactly. I'm like, I'm not super one for small talk or anything, but I was like, damn, this is good. So one, thank you for sharing with me.
Thank you for receiving it.
Yeah.
Man. I appreciate that.
No worries. But two, thank you for being yourself, and thank you for being vulnerable in this.
Thanks.
I
Thank
think
you. Damn.
It's really easy to not do either one of those things. It's really easy to play a character that also plays a character.
I do that a lot. As
Yeah,
well.
it's easy to do that, right? It's like,
it's fun. I mean, it's really fun.
It's like, who do I want to be today, right?
Yeah,
And when you get into your persona and you get to making art, it's easy to get into those things. But I feel like on a lot of this album, it's you playing you from your perspective.
Yeah, this is kind of going to be the last time of that for a while.
Okay.
I mean, at least in such a, like down to earth, like straightforward way. But yeah, I think this is just the album I needed to make at the time that I made it. I told the story on stage like last weekend, but when I was making it initially, it was starting off as this whole like kind of autobiographical thing, like a recap of my 2023, which is like a lot of the subject matter of this album, and when I made a lot of the beats for it.
Yeah.
When I got my car stolen, I got my catalytic converter
Twice.
stolen. I was getting over this heartbreak twice. I was getting over this heartbreak. I got fired from my job. I talk about all this on the intro, and I was thinking like, oh, maybe the album's gonna be like, okay, I'll just tell the story of this year. But I was like, I don't even want to like do that. Like that's not like A, that'd be draining, and B, that's like not even like the point. The point is life's never that bad. Yeah. And like so to sit and like drown in all this sorrow and like not sorrow, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like just like real dark shit. Like I didn't really want to do that, but I still want to touch upon it and be like, hey, look, like shit is real out here, but also like life's never that bad. And so I wanted to make that album like feel like that, be heartfelt and be a little like pull on some strings a bit, but also have it be a fun listen, because I really like albums that are like I could just press play on and I can just play the whole thing and I know it's gonna have cool transitions and it's gonna have an arc and it's gonna ebb and flow. Honestly, I wanted it to this is gonna sound like a weird comparison, but I wanted it to feel like Control by SZA.
Okay.
Like in that sense, in the way that I could just press play and I know it's gonna be some real shit and some fun shit and some pop shit, but it's like also like it's still a fun listen even though it's kind of serious. I wanted it to be that.
Like, we're gonna go some places here.
Yeah,
We're gonna end up somewhere, but we're gonna go some places first.
but it's not Mr. Morale where it's like it really goes there. You know what I mean? It's like it goes there. I talk about shit. I don't like sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
But like tonally, I'm not like it's a dark comedy basically.
Okay.
It's kind of like that.
Okay, I get that. It kind of reminds me of like a circle. Like you're starting at life's never that bad, and then you're going places, and then your outro, you come right back to yo, life's never that bad.
If I was really smart, I thought about doing it that way a little bit, and like because I'd start the album by saying it, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll like have it end the way but I like didn't really. I don't know. It became one of those things where I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore. Like that's not even what this is. I just want to,
Yeah.
I just want to be done.
That's tough. Cause you sent me it, and I think the way you sent me it was kind of fire. It's one MP3 file. It's 24 minutes and 31 seconds long, and it's just like, here you go. And I opened it, I was like, okay, cool. Like it's not individual songs he sent me inside a folder. No, it's just one long MP3 file. So I was like,
because I want it to feel like that. I wanted you to get the pacing and the there's no gaps in between songs. Really, it's just let's go. I'm not letting the tail play out. I'm not, okay, here's the beginning of this song. It's like, nope, let's go. We got shit to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of how you perform too. Honestly, the last couple times I've seen you perform, and probably like the last month I've seen you a couple times.
Yeah,
like you're like, okay, when I saw you had red hair and you're like, I got 30 minutes. I'm going to fill this 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to take 26 minutes and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to give y'all 4 back. You gave me 30 minutes. I'm going to give you 30 minutes and 27 seconds
Yeah.
worth of like
Yeah.
entertainment. Go. And then you just
Literally.
went.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot more, and also this album inspired me to do that because I paced it like that, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, when I do these songs, I want to do them like that because it, like, the beginnings of the songs feel nice because of how they're coming off of the last song. If I just play them out of context or if I'm talking beforehand, it doesn't really achieve the same thing. And so I've been doing that more and more with my live shows and like doing it with songs outside of this album.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels so much like it feels way more like a production.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can like really get into my like character bag or just like really dive into the performance when I'm not pressing play on my tracks or like having somebody else press play on my tracks or whatever. I can just make a file that's 30 minutes like that. Like I just make a file for every show and then just press play on it and that's it. And maybe I'll write down the track list on the ground or something. But yeah, that's pacing is like becoming more and more of like a really big part of my music, and I'm like excited about that.
Yeah, it's like intentional.
Yeah, and especially like I think that amount of pacing was inspired a bit by "Call Me If You Get Lost."
Okay.
Because if you listen to those songs, it's a
Yeah.
lot of, the tails don't go, or like Kanye even, like Kanye don't do no fade outs. I hate fade outs in songs. If you talk to anybody who's working with me in the studio,
Yeah.
like I will be like, we're not fading this shit out,
No.
bro. Like that's, it's so boring. I don't know. It's lazy and it's boring. Don't fade out your songs.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a time and place. You can do it, but also don't.
Yeah, there's a time place to do it, but now nowhere is a time and nothing is a place. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, those "Call Me If You Get Lost" and Kanye are very much inspirations for like, let's just end the song right there and just pick up right where the last one left off.
Okay. Staying on intention. A lot of this album is new stuff people have never heard from you before, but the first 3 tracks have already been released.
Yeah,
Right. Foundation,
3?
I think.
Foundation
Yeah.
been out.
Foundation, I think it's almost 2 years old.
Yeah.
You released it March 2023.
Mm-hmm. That's been an inspiration piece I've been using for other people to
Okay.
drop their shit. And they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to market this shit. I'm like, bro, Foundation is like my biggest song, and it's been out for 2 years, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be on my brand new album.
And it's the intro.
Yeah, and it's the first
it's
song.
like, yeah, it's the
there's
first
no other
song.
place
Yeah,
for it,
yeah.
really. I tried. I was like, I can't, maybe I don't want, but I was like, there's no other place for it. And there's enough people in the world with no fucking clue who I am who aren't gonna care. So, yeah.
Okay.
But sorry, back
No,
to
you're good. You're good. I was gonna ask, like, how does like those 3 songs I've already lived individually? How do these 3 songs now at the top of your album gain new life in this project? Like being surrounded by the other new songs and
Yeah.
the prologue and the themes and everything.
I think that's exactly it. I think it plays into the themes a bit more because individually they're not really thematic like that, or they're not tied together thematically per se. But I think again, like the pacing affects it a lot, how they play off of each other, and it hammers home the idea of life's never that bad because, again, like I was saying, like it went from being a summarization of this bad year of my life to every song is now like, and it's like an anthology series. Like
Yeah.
every song is pointing back to the idea that life's never that bad. It's not necessarily that they're tied to each other.
Yeah.
They are sonically, but like topically, it's like it's all just pointing back to that life's never that bad. So sometimes it's gonna be like, like this is my foundation this is a real nigga foundation,
Real nigga
you know.
foundation.
And then other times it's gonna be, hey, hello baby, what's the move? I know you've been thinking about me since the last time, baby. What's good? You know what I'm saying? Or like it's I don't know. I just need a hug.
I just
you know,
I
I
just
just
need
you
a- I
know,
just need a hug.
yeah. Like it's everything is really pointing back to life's never that bad. That's really where I wanted to arrive at. Is life's never that bad is the thesis statement, and then the songs are the body paragraphs.
That makes sense because the first time I heard it, all 24 minutes 31 seconds.
But who's counting?
Yeah, nobody but Ron. Apparently, I looked at it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I felt like because of what you said on the intro, what really harped with me was that you went through this 1.5 year long heartbreak, where if anybody's been through heartbreak, only real niggas go through heartbreak. By the way,
Only real niggas, bro.
like you
Never a fake nigga would
understand,
ever do that.
but you understand, like you might not realize it in the moment, but you look back, you're like, oh, I was down bad.
Oh, I knew it in the moment.
So I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, he's aware of this, so he knows he was down bad. This is almost like the 7 stages of grief. And then my second listen, I was like, maybe it's not grief, maybe he's almost like coming into his new self. And then my third, fourth, fifth listen, I was like, wait, he's not even changed like that dramatically. He's more like talking to himself from a third person's perspective.
Yeah.
Like looking in the mirror or looking almost over his shoulder like, no, this is you. Or like, this is what we've been through together.
Yeah.
And this is where we are now. How do you feel about that?
I hadn't thought about it in that context, but that's totally what it is. I mean, I'm like using myself as an example to tell people like, hey, yo, life's never that bad. I went through this and that, and I still like find time to smile every day. Like it can't be that bad, you know? And I am totally telling myself that. I hadn't really thought of it like that, but yeah, it was more so to be like, to just share with people like, look, even if you're going through hardship, even when life kind of sucks, it's still life, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, damn, that was very well put.
I appreciate it. Yeah, sonically, let's get into a little bit of the way the album sounds like it feels. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of, I don't want to say, I think love songs are the wrong term for it, but you talk about romance and you talk about relationships and you talk about companionship. Maybe it's the best word to describe it. A lot. It's not really a lot of the theme in my perspective, but you mention it a lot. Like you put a cover over those themes with this, but sonically, it's not like a lot of lovey-dovey shit.
Yeah.
But context-wise,
or even it's not even really getting into like nitty-gritty like relationships. Yeah. Anything like that. I mean, my last project, which is like 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
That's like really kind of what that whole project was, and I was like, I don't want to do that again.
I don't want to love. No.
And it's like it's totally not what it's about. Like I wasn't even like at the time of making this, like I wasn't like heartbroken like that, and none of like, you know, none of these songs are even like about that.
Yeah,
it's totally like, I don't know. I guess I'm using like relationships and romance as just another means of like, hey, there's these little pockets of life. You know, these also exist. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're not that good. I don't really get in the dirt, you know, I don't really get in the nitty gritty of it not being that good.
Yeah.
It's mostly just like flirtatious and like, you know, science. I don't know if I gave you the song titles or not. Damn, I hella meant to. I totally have the song titles timestamped in that file. Like I have an email with them all, and I totally didn't send it to you. But yeah, the song Science is like the lovey-doveyest I get. That's the
anti-gravity one? Or antimatter?
No.
Okay.
That's called antimatter.
Okay, I was thinking.
And I can't escape when gravity pull me back. That's like the closest thing to being like lovey-dovey. But even then, I was really using that as an excuse to like flex my knowledge of science. I was trying to get features on that song, and that was an impossible song to get a feature on. Like nobody wanted a feature on it really. I was about to get my friend Camilla Covington on it. Shout out Camilla. And she like laid down a little thing that was super melodically cool, but I don't think she really liked her words, and then we just like never really went back to it. And I ended up writing my own second verse, but that's, I know we're on a tangent here, but that song was like an excuse to just flex the knowledge. Like it's really, my verse is about quantum entanglement, which to those that don't know what quantum entanglement is, physics, basically, there will be, you can have two particles at any distance apart from each other, and they can be entangled so that if you affect one particle over here, this particle over here, a whole star system away, a whole 10 light years away, whatever, will be affected instantaneously. And this is like proven. This is a fact. We know this. This is not even like something that's like, oh, we think maybe. Like, no. This is fact. And I was using that as an example to be like, you and I, baby girl, are quantum entangled in the sense that every time you move, my body react. It don't
Mm,
matter how far away or how close that you
yeah.
get, you know?
Okay.
And then there's a couple other scientific ideas, but that's like one of the big ones.
Okay. That's the metaphor. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of quantum entanglement? I
Okay.
swear it's what we be going through, girl. The parallels are apparent. You know?
Okay. No, and I think the fact that like you're not afraid to be yourself really makes this album like fire. Like I don't I hate talking about like the Kendrick and the Drake beef, but I'll like
This is just like the Kendrick Drake.
no, because not a lot of, but one thing Kendrick mentioned that always stuck with me, Drake is of mixed descent.
Yeah.
Right? His mother is no white background, European background, and his father African American from the South, right? And he comes out this mixed kid who, in my eyes, is always struggling to act more black than he actually is.
Yeah.
And I don't like I'm mixed. My mother is Caucasian, and my dad, he's black.
Aren't we all? Come on now.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get that, but I don't get like it doesn't feel like something that you're struggling with. You're like, you know what? I'm black, but also like I'm so many other things, and I get to like science. I get to like more shit than just rap. I get to sing about shit that has nothing to do with the culture, but also throw a Hakeem Olajuwon bar in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I did,
I'm here, but I don't gotta prove that I'm here all the time. I get to just be me.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, that's taken a while to arrive at. I'm 30 now. Like, it's taken a while to arrive at. Because, I mean, even for a while, like, growing up as a kid, like, I didn't really have black friends. I went to Catholic schools. Like, I don't know if black people just don't go to Catholic schools. I don't know.
Start the narrative.
I mean, I guess not. Answer in the comments.
Yeah, put it here.
Do black people go to Catholic school? Yeah, it's a test. It's not a poll. And like I not till like college and shit, and then I started going out to Oakland and like going to like friggin' I don't know New Edition and like just places in downtown Oakland and like being in all these spaces and like it took me till that long to even understand like Bay Area rap music to like be around other black people and be like, oh, like we are all in this communal space. Like I get it now. Because when I'm in 6th grade and my friends are playing Tell Me When to Go, I'm like, bro, put on fucking All American Rejects. Like, what are you doing?
Which was slapping in the grade.
Yeah. Like that's the shit I grew up on. So like I don't know, like it's got its ebbs and flows, and like. There's always the obvious, like, too white for the blackies and too black for the whiteys. Like, that's, like, gonna come with the territory pretty much always. But being true to myself and comfortable with myself has been, like, maybe my greatest accomplishment so far. And, like, has really propelled me into making better art, into, like, having better conversations with people and, like, being able to hold a conversation at just, like, a random event. Like, otherwise I'm just, like, sitting thinking about what I'm, it's taken a while, but it all just comes from being comfortable with yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that comfort shows, like you said, in the music, but also like the versatility. I think that's something that Drake doesn't get enough credit for. Just being able to do so many things, like maybe not like great at like the best level, like but very well, right? And I think obviously not to compare you to Drake, but you do so many things very well.
Thanks,
sonically.
Thank you.
And it's like when you have all of that knowledge or skill set, even like you're not afraid to go there, like to try. Like I might not. I might not make songs like this all the time, but I really fuck with what I made here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to perform it. I'm going to sing it. I'm going to promote it. How do you, at that point, when you can do so many things, or at least you're going to try so many things, how do you not get stuck in doing nothing? How do you know, like, I don't know where to go, so I'm just not going to do anything.
For years, I did. For years, I did. Like, literally 2024, I think, was the first year of me just being like, I'm just going to drop whatever I feel like and not, like, be way more process driven than results driven, and I put out like an indie rock song that like nobody listened to called On Mamas, and it's so hot. And I love it. But
I put that on Mama.
Come on now, thank you. We could talk about that song later, but I had that song sitting around for like 4 years over a whole different beat. Same like chorus recording, and then I like remade the whole thing. I love that song. But I dropped that. I dropped like this song 904, which is like an electronic like pop song. I was just doing like I dropped like a bossa nova song with Camilla Covington called That Sound. Shout out Camilla. I guess that's where it is at. I'm trying to be process driven over results driven, because if you think too much about the results, like what it's gonna do, that's when you get hung up on like, how do I, what's the content for this, what's the no, 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 no. And maybe people didn't listen to it because I didn't do enough content or whatever. But I think my goal right now is, because I do so many things, I'm kind of trying to just drop everything all the time, rather than be like, here's my jazz rap bag, here's my indie pop bag, here's my indie rock bag, here, whatever. Like, I just would rather be like, here's a song, here's a little EP, here's this jazz rap album, here's this dark wave moody R&B album. Here's I'm trying to just do everything all the time, and then I'm maybe conditioning the consumer. I hate that fucking word, but you know what I mean. The audience. Yeah. I'm conditioning the audience to like just expect whatever.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, if I only drop jazz raps and I'm making all this other stuff behind closed doors, and then I'm like, oh well, here's this, electronic pop song with a pitched down voice. You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
What did he just do?
Yeah.
He knows I don't like that shit. No.
Yeah. And, I heard Russ in an interview talk about that, because he makes a lot of different styles of music. And he was saying like, yeah, I know some artists that are only rap artists that do R&B behind the closed doors, and then it like don't do well when they drop R&B, and people be like, oh, I missed the old shit. And he was like, for him, like for Russ, he's like, I put out stuff all the time, and so people just like know that I do all these certain bags. And I'm like, that's so obvious. Why didn't I already do that?
Yeah. I think the easy answer to that is because once you don't do well, like you said, once you do something that doesn't equate to something that somebody else has seen or likes from you, it's like, oh, he's fallen off, or yo, he's done. He's on this whole new direction. But does that kind of like motivate you to like not put yourself in a box, or not be seen in some sort of box from maybe like that third eye Casey looking over your own shoulder? Like, you could never box me in.
For sure. Because I feel like even at shows, like I would only perform my rap shit for the longest time, because that's what I could physically even perform. Like I couldn't do the other shit.
Yeah.
I like wasn't good enough. And even now I'd be like, I have to work hard to like be able to sing and shit. And I'd be singing with auto-tune, and it's so fun because you can't fuck up. But I lost my train of thought. What was your question?
Do you look at this as a way not to box yourself in, or not be boxed in?
Yeah, I think I do. I have always viewed myself as like pretty boundaryless, because again, I didn't even grow up on rap music. So like when I started making music is when I started listening to rap.
Yeah.
Really like that like intersected. So I just started rapping because that's what I was listening to at the time. But like in the back of my mind, I had all these like Weezer melodies in my head, and like all this, and so I'm even now like I'm finally finding ways to like bring in more things and make it make sense for me. And again, I think it goes back to like being comfortable with yourself, because I've always had all this love for other stuff, but I wasn't like comfortable mixing it, and I didn't really know how to do it accurately in a way that like was authentic, and like, how are other people gonna feel about this? Or like, none of my friends listen to that. Like, and it's like, I don't fucking care anymore. I'm like, I'm too grown for that.
What do I like?
Yeah, what do I like? That's really, really where I'm at, and I'm so glad to be able to say that. I mean, I've always made music I've liked at the time, at least, but I don't know. It's getting way more and more refined, and I'm getting better, and like just getting better at articulating myself, like in words articulating, but also like expression wise articulating. Like, oh, I can make like some 4 on the floor house shit, or like, and then beat switch it into like a fucking rock song. I don't know. I really feel like I can do anything, and I think, I have this Life's Never That Bad, this like jazz rap album. I have another like nighttimey moody R&B album.
Okay.
And then that'll also come out at some point this year. After that's, I've been sitting on that. But after that, like, I'm in next project. I think I want to be like the fucking just all over the place.
Okay.
Like have it tied together still, but like really, you might get anything. You might get a bossa nova song, and then like a really ignorant rap song, and then like a caribou type beat, and then like fuck whatever. Like that's really what I'm on. I'm like, let me flex like all the things, because I can make it make sense. I know that I can. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay, and how much of this album was self-produced? Did you produce this whole thing?
Whole thing.
Whole thing.
Whole thing. I mean, I did get some help with like My guy Big Soda played like some bass on some songs and some guitar on some songs. I think he's the only other collaborator like that. It was like I had the songs and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, bro, I'm missing a bass and you were
Add a
body it.
layer type.
Yeah. It's very well. Actually, no. Foundation was co-produced by Marquito
Okay.
and Zach Sanders, who
Shout
are
out to him.
fellow Q heads.
Yeah.
But outside of that, no, I think it was just me. But it's very sample heavy, and I
Yeah.
only sample the homies. So I'm only sampling people like I personally know.
Okay.
So like that song "Science" we're talking about,
Yeah.
that's a Big Soda sample.
Okay.
And Crybaby also is the vocal chop on that, who's also a Q head.
Okay. I was wondering where the vocal chop was from. Okay.
Yeah. The last song samples Camilla Covington. What else? Hug Part 2 samples Aroma. What else am I missing? What's a Move samples Big Soda. I don't know. I'm blanking on the other ones. Oh, you know what? Lauds. The weird fast tempo.
Oh, the one where you're just there.
Monk, another Q head. Monk actually produced that song. That's the one I did not. I always forget about that. I added the 4 on the floor kicks at the end. That
I was like,
all I
oh,
did.
he's going crazy.
Yeah.
like-
he made that beat, and he presented that exactly as it is. Like I didn't resequence it.
Yeah.
He was like, "Here's this. Like, do you want to rap on it?" I was like, "What the fuck? Hell yeah!"
It like, and I was just about to ask. That's why I asked if you produced it, because how do you find those pockets on a song like that where it's just going and you're just like, I know I want to rap on this. I don't know how I want to rap on this yet, but I'm going to rap on this. How do you kind of like put yourself in that like mode where like, yeah, I really love this. I know I want to make some medium of music towards this with my voice. I'm going to do it like this. How does that process work out?
When do you mean with that song specifically, Laws, or the whole shit?
Or songs like that where you're just, the beat might not be a prototypical rap beat where you can just, okay, I know what pocket. Instantly by hearing it, I might have to sit with this. I might have to think about this. I might have to get into the bridge and the the sonics about it later. But I know I want to use my voice on this.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while. Like Science was one that I had just the chorus and like a stripped down version of that beat for like months. And then I like wrote my verse like after that, and then I finally tried to shop the second verse around to people, and nobody really understood it as a song. People were like, "What the fuck is this?" Kind of. Like there's that. What's a Move was another one where I knew I hella liked the beat, but I just it's no, I feel like I came up with that chorus fairly shortly after, and then I sort of started to figure out what that song was about. But yeah, sometimes it's just like I feel like writing, and I'll just sift through the stuff we've made recently. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I know pretty early on when I make the beat whether I want to be on it or not. Sometimes a lot of times even, I'm like really uninspired by the shit I make, even if I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know somebody will body this, but maybe it's just I'm listening to it in a different like context.
Yeah.
And also I know that I can change shit, which is like a huge pitfall on this album, to be honest. Part of why it took so long is because I knew I could go back and change shit. When you're producing and engineering your shit, it's like you have too much control over things, versus sometimes it's better to just like rap on a beat and like or hear a beat for the first time, and then I can just come up with ideas, rather than like I sat and made the beat and was thinking of it with like a whole different hat on, and now I gotta like change brains and like come up with words that also fit. Like, and then I'm sitting thinking like, okay, well, this needs some more like melody or some different like rhythmic something. I'm like, okay, well, do I do that with the raps, or do I do that with the beat and then go smoother and simpler with the raps or whatever? Like sometimes that's an easy conversation to have with myself, but sometimes it's not.
You're like, because you made the beat, so you have the project files. You can go in there and do something with it if you wanted to. It's not just a 2-track sitting in. You're like, oh, I can't really do nothing.
Yeah,
I have that ability to almost. My bad.
I was like, I forgot I had to redo
wait,
it.
Hold on, wait, he's gonna let me.
I was just being light skinned about it.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this nigga gonna let me clap. No, pause. But
my brain did not. Even
I always thinking like interviews or conversations like this where it's like, oh, I always want to start where the first time I was introduced to you, the first time that I saw you or heard of you or whatever. But we can get there. I don't know, what was I saying kind of before? I don't know what I was saying, so I can just
I forget.
Yeah, it's all good. It was probably fire, but it'll probably be fire if I remember it too.
We'll circle back.
The first time I heard of Casey Cope was, it was 2 years ago. Well, almost 2 years ago. I think it was the summer of 2023. You were performing at Cornerstone. You were opening up for
Collaborate.
Yeah,
I was actually just sifting through photos from that show today.
That's crazy.
Because I had to send photos to somebody, and I was like, "Oh, this is a cool show."
That's crazy, and I think, I kind of, now that I've heard this album, I kind of have a different experience about me seeing you for the first time.
Interesting.
Because now that I feel like I have a little bit of context of what you might have been going through at that time as you were in it.
Oh, that totally was that time.
Yeah, because I was thinking of, I didn't know you had no prior experience. We've never talked or anything. And I was like, oh, this man looks like he's possibly having an emotional breakdown towards the later part of his set.
Oh, wait, what? Did I play If You Gotta Question It? She Don't Love You?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, and I was just like, wait, because the first part of the set, I was like, okay, and obviously, like, a lot of the rap shit, and then you get to the alternative shit, and then later on, it literally felt like you were on stage, like, not almost, you were crying. Like, you were sitting there, like, it was, like, that emotional. I was like, wait, this has left being a performance now. Like, this man is in, like, a different headspace emotionally. But now that I kind of feel like I have the context around that, I was like, oh, maybe he was like going through some shit that obviously nobody knew, but like I know a little bit more now.
Sure.
And now it kind of makes sense that the music hit differently for him as he was performing it.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't remember what songs I played that day. Like kinda, like I know like a couple, but I don't know, because some of these songs were and were not written. Like maybe most of these beats were probably already even done by then, maybe. But shoot, I don't know. I'm asking if I played that song, If You Gotta Question It, She Don't Love You. Yeah. Because spoiler alert, there's like a bit. That whole song is kind of a bit. Okay. And I'm like really fucking committing to it. Now granted, I'd be like on the ground, like writhing.
Okay, maybe that's what we saw.
That could have been. But I mean, that even still feels like that's like so over the top. Yeah. Like I'm like, like I'm like really going for it.
Yeah, okay.
It's been a thing where like I've done shows and people who are like running the show have like come up to like, yo, and I'm like, and I don't even break the shit until the song's done. Yeah. Like I don't break it.
Okay, that might have been because I was like, yo, this is going like
that could have been.
He's really going. Like, okay, I don't know if this is a performance anymore. So that
I will say that's a big part of me as a person and me on stage is is this a bit? Is this not a bit? Am I that's something about that is really like funny and entertaining to me because I know exactly where I align. Yeah. And oftentimes it's somewhere like in the middle. It's like it is a bit, but I'm also like presently aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching people's faces and they're like, is that like am I supposed to laugh? Am I supposed to laugh with you? Or like are you actually going through something? Or is this like I don't know, like I like that in between of the crowd not really knowing how to feel.
Yeah.
And then I'm just diving headstrong in. Like the fact that I'm being so adamant about this like feeling is like even more so. Like it hammers home. Like oh god, like you're definitely feeling something, but is that like real? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no. Last question, then I'll let you get out of here, or I'll call this conversation to a
real quick. Yeah. On that note, any people who talk to me on the phone and shit, especially know. I hate when people say, I'm gonna let you go. I've
been told that. I apologize. I don't know how to end conversations appropriately. I'm just like, before this comes to an end, I want to seem like I'm breaking up the conversation. But like, how I saw this a bit that, Kev on Stage. Yeah, he has a podcast. I can't remember what the podcast is called or who's it with, but he had this bit I saw a few weeks ago. And he's like, when black people are about to end a phone conversation, And like they went on for like 4 minutes and just went like back to back to back to back. And one of them, and I feel like I've been harping on this since I've seen it, was like, "All right, I'm gonna let you go."
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you ain't hold up. You called me. What do you mean? I'm
Yeah,
gonna let
yeah,
you
yeah. That's
go?
exactly how it feels. It's like you're acting like you're doing me a favor. I didn't
Yeah.
say nothing, bro. I was chilling.
Bro, we was having a conversation. Now you were, yeah. So I apologize.
It's really
for that.
funny. I know I don't think anything of it like
Yeah.
actually, but I always make mental note of it. I'm
Yeah.
like,
But I've been on phone with like girls and shit, and I've been like, "All right, I'm gonna let you go." And like, "What do you mean you're about to let
Yeah.
me go?" Like, we was having a conversation. You don't want to be on the phone? I'm like,
Yeah.
don't even do that. Like, it was just like I said it so just out of response. Like, I didn't even mean it in any sort of way. So, I just thought that part was funny. Not that I said it, but that it had that
super funny.
context. But saying on
Before
that,
you let me go.
yeah, before I let you go, tidbit, banter. Two things. One that I just remembered. This album kind of reminded me, and I hate again comparing, but
I don't care.
okay,
I prefer it.
Okay.
I used to get really bad well,
Yeah.
not bad comparisons, but comparisons I didn't like.
okay,
Like early 20s, mid 20s. And now I get better comparisons.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm doing something.
okay. I'm moving towards
Yeah. I've beat the
well,
Chance the Rapper allegations, bro. I did it.
I was never gonna go there. This might have been.
I'm so glad. If
Okay.
you heard me when I was 23, you might have said something
I
different.
love Chance. I'm a huge Chance fan.
It's no disrespect.
Yeah.
I like him too. I know a lot of his songs. Like
Okay.
I'm well versed, but that's not me. It's not me.
Not me. I was gonna say, like sonically, and a lot of the decisions to not rap and leave. I'm not gonna say not rap, but letting the beat play or letting the beat ride, or like the spaces that you talked about, like those type of decisions where like the person is now in the album and you're not saying anything, but they're just in the songs. That type of like creative direction reminds me a lot of Mac Miller Best Day Ever era.
Oh.
Where like you're hearing these fire beats and you're just like, oh, like obviously Mac's terrific rapper, one of my favorite artists of all times. But
Same.
like the music is playing and the music is so beautiful, and then he's coming on over on top of it, and like once him and the music both come to an agreement, almost feels like you're in a different headspace now. Like
Yeah.
it takes the song to another level. So that's what it kind of reminded me of. I'm listening to this, I'm like, what does it feel like? It feels like I know something, but I haven't revisited that album. It's probably been like a decade, or like that Mac Miller in
Yeah,
like a
that
decade.
era.
But like it feels like the music and the person are dancing.
Thank you. That's
You know?
fucking tight.
Like I'm gonna let
That's
you
it.
do what you do, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do
Yeah.
when it comes to time.
I'm so glad it comes across that way, because there's a lot of times like on Antimatter where like I love that beat so much. Like that's like my favorite beat, and like I had the vocal idea, like the chorus, like pretty quickly. And I was like, I don't want to like spend all my time rapping on this. I had a whole different verse before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love how this beat feels, and like the chorus feels good. And like, I just want to like loop this like forever. Like I could just loop that beat, that instrumental like forever. And so there's times like that where I have to kind of pick and choose. Like, okay, how much do I really actually want to insert myself here? Because I don't want to do that much. Like I want to listen to this, but I know I have to put myself on it to
Yeah.
be like a song.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like a
Drop the
thing.
beat.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just like some little like idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's totally a line to toe, because I've done that before where I had beats that I loved and then I rapped on it and now it sucks. So that's really cool. And that song as well, Antimatter, the intro and the beat switch on Hug Part 2 all sample the same thing. They sampled this jam we had in this very room with Marquito, Big Soda, Monk, and Zach, who I all referenced all of them earlier. They just jammed like for maybe like 7 minutes, like just kind of fucking around, no metronome, no nothing, just kind of like noodling about, and they're all just jazz heads, so they be locked in. And so like I was engineering that when they did it, and I like was kind of helping pick the tones and stuff of the guitar and everything. And then I just like chopped that a few times. So if you listen, it has the same textures like all those beats, but also the intro and Hug Part 2, you can hear like it's the exact same part. I just like chopped it and looped it. But it's like the exact same part if you listen to it. which I really like and appreciate. But I meant to mention that earlier when we were talking about production. I just forgot.
It's all good. It's all good. Emotionally, and I kind of referenced this earlier. I think I got sidetracked. But how much of how you were feeling in that moment of the creation of this album goes into the production choices in terms of, oh, I'm going to use this bass, or I'm going to use this synth, or I'm just going to make this whole song without an 808. I'm just going to go.
Yeah, I mean, like, all of it.
Okay.
I had Foundation already, and Lods got made somewhere like late 2022, at least like the initial version. And maybe I had one. No, I don't know. We had like some other beats and stuff that were like adjacent in tone and stuff. And once I like made those couple, I think I forget what the inciting one was. Maybe it was What's a Move. I think once I made like that, and then I made Antimatter.
Okay.
Then it's like, oh, I'm off. I started to figure out what it was, and then I knew exactly how to make it. And then I made Science because I was like, well, I know I want to sample jazz heads. I want to sample my homies. I want it to be like jazz adjacent shit, or like jazz samples over like slightly different genres. Like Science is kind of Afrobeat almost, like kind of R&B. I was like, I knew I wanted to go with that basis, jazz shit, and then just put like a drum loop over it and like layer another drum loop on top of that and then call it a beat, more or less. And that is kind of how I went about it. Like it became instantly obvious to me what the project was once I had like 2 or 3 maybe. It was like, oh, okay, now I'm off. And then I went and made all the beats in like a pretty short period of time because I knew what I was making. And I never really have that feeling so much. And you can kind of only get that when you're making projects. Like if you're on a wave of something, okay, like you can make songs in that tone or whatever. But if you're making a project, it's like, oh, I can really think of it as one like cohesive thing where like I can go into slightly different subgenres and stuff. Because if I dropped all these songs as singles, they would still be good.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you would even necessarily think that they went together. But if you play them in the album, they go together like perfectly fine. So, yeah.
And that probably like makes sense because now that I'm hearing the album and I'm listening to songs that were released before this album was released, I'm like, these songs are older, but like a 904 isn't on this album.
No way.
Yeah,
It
like
would make no sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or like, yeah, I think the singles though, the reason they were singles, Foundation and What's a Move and Hose Lovers Friends, were all. Hose Lovers Friends was also a Big Soda sample. Those were not meant to be, I think, on the album when they were made. Because at least I think even What's a Move and Foundation, definitely Foundation, there wasn't an album at the time they were made.
Okay.
Like they were just like songs.
Yeah.
I think that's how it went. I lost my train of thought. My brain being so many places.
It's all good. But are we hoes? Are we lovers? Are we friends? That's a newer song.
Yeah, that I did make that last summer, and that wasn't supposed to be on it. But then once I made it, I was like, man, it's got this jazz shit. Like it's a little different in tone than some of the other ones. Like it's maybe the only song on the project with an 808. Now that I think about it,
Yeah, it might be.
but I'm like, it fits. Like it's how can I not put this on the album? And at the time, I kind of needed another like upbeat one. You know,
Yeah.
it was getting a little like. You know, the last 3 songs become a bit meat and potatoes, and I didn't really want it to be all of that. So yeah, it felt like a really good role. But so they were singles because they weren't supposed to be on the album. Essentially, if I knew that, they probably wouldn't be out, or like maybe would have rolled out a little different. But it is what it is. And you know, if I post shit about it today, it's tons of people who have no idea it exists. So who cares?
The beauty and the struggle of it at the same time.
Yeah. We're in an era where you can really push shit all the time and know like what is new music? Because people said, oh, like I want new music, or like I have a playlist and I only accept songs that are like 1 month old, and it's like,
why,
bro? Yeah, like everything is new music. Heard it. Yeah, that fucking what's that? Damn, what is that song that blew up on TikTok? Like during COVID, I don't know.
Okay.
Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
It's like
dun,
that was
dun,
new to
dun.
every 14-year-old girl that loved that song.
Because it was on a different platform. Like when he was bro was roller
Yeah, on the
skating down, yeah,
skateboard.
and he was
Yeah.
drinking the what juice was he?
I know
Yeah,
exactly the video you're talking
dreams
about.
in dreams in something.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, it might just be
I
dreams.
think it's just dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreams and nightmares.
Okay. Yeah. Meek Mill featuring
I
Fleetwood Mac.
used to pray for
Yeah.
times like this,
Yeah.
just to rhyme like
Hey,
this.
that might be tough. That might be a tough flip. Yo, DJ Casey Cole flipping Dreams and Nightmares or Dreams and Fleetwood Mac. That would be tough. That was something like the mixed kids would go crazy. But they'd be like, yo, what? It probably wouldn't work the other way around, but hey, fuck it. Put Fleetwood
Put the
Mac.
Fleetwood Mac on the Dreams and Nightmares beat. But yeah, so I just had
no.
to say, like, I don't know. You got to keep pushing your
Yeah.
shit because it's always gonna be new. Nobody gives a fuck how old your music is unless it sounds old. If it sounds old, then that was your problem to begin with. Like that's the problem. It's not that it is old, it's that it sounds old.
Yeah. And even if it sounds old isn't even necessarily bad because there's a place for all that, like older shit.
Mm-hmm.
If it sounds old or if it sounds like it's almost like, and I guess this is a fucked up way to put it, but almost like it's not meant to be. Like, I don't know if there's a place for this. That's how like, this I don't know, not to say that this shouldn't exist, but I don't think this is for, I can't see who this is for. Like who likes this, because that's a messed up way to look at art, but like, this is definitely not for me in like the harshest way possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Terrible way to end the interview or end the conversation, but I appreciate you, Casey Cope, for having me facilitate this conversation. Thank you again for sharing the album with me, but creating the album. I think, again, everything that I said is true. I'm a hater at heart again. So if I didn't like this, I would find very, very clever ways to tell you I didn't like this.
No, don't even. In future reference, if I show you some weak shit or drop some weak shit,
tell you that's just not it.
Me. And I'll probably disagree. Okay, but I would be interested to know why.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I just showed some homies the other day the Hug Part 2 video. Actually, maybe I'll show you after.
Okay.
Maybe I should show you ahead of time. I just finished
good,
it.
Yeah.
But I was like showing homies, and it's like a done video. But I was like showing them, and they had like notes for me.
Oh,
like just like no, this is tight, but like you
probably
should change that shot to that, or like maybe you did that with that shot, or change that light. And I was like, these are good. Like I want to hear
feedback.
Why. Like this, it's super valid, and maybe I'll use it next time. But the shit is done. I'm not changing it.
I love it.
I'm not changing. Yeah, this is sick. And the things that you want to change are things that I fucking like.
Oh, okay.
But I want to know why you did it. Like, that's important to me.
Make their opinions invalid.
Yeah. And it's also homies whose opinions I trust.
Okay,
so
that's super important.
That is a big part of it. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But nonetheless, thank you.
Thank you.
More than anything, thank you.
I appreciate you, like, taking the time to do this.
Nah, this is I think, honestly, like, you reaching out to me and be like, yo, not please, but like, can you facilitate this conversation?
Yeah, you want to come talk about me with me?
Yeah, about my shit? Like, hey, I'm like, I don't know a better way to spend a Tuesday night, man. Like, but I love doing shit like this, so the fact that
I could tell.
Yeah, like this is really interesting to me. I hate small talk. Like, we were to sit here and talk about, like, I follow you on Instagram, and like, you're in my algorithm now, so like, I see every one of your stories, and like, you like so much, like, just not random, but out of the box shit. Like, someone can come up to you and like, I think one of your new phases or crazes is like 1940s baseball. Like, somebody can come up to you and talk about I can't do that.
I mean, I'm a baseball geek, bro.
Okay.
Ken Burns baseball is the move. I don't know if you've seen any Ken Burns documentaries. He does a bunch of PBS documentaries, Civil War, baseball, like a bunch of but it's like baseball is like 20 hours, and it's from like the inception of baseball, like 1860s up until 1994 when it came out, and it's just phenomenal. So yeah, if anybody wants to talk 1940s baseball, bro, I'm locked the fuck in.
Yeah, but like you might have to find like some 80-year-olds or like some 70-year-olds to be like, maybe even older, maybe some 90-year-olds who are like, yo, I was a kid when yada yada. No, I can't do that. So I like this stuff. So I appreciate you once again for even having me or even thinking about, yo, Ron, come talk.
Yeah, you're good at the shit, and like you genuinely care, and like you be in the community, and like, you know, you have your page, like the 6'5" page where you're like front facing camera, just like talking about shit, and like it's stuff like you're somebody with perspective and opinion. You know what I mean? And that's like, not everybody has that. You would think that everybody would have that, but not everybody has that. So that matters a lot to me in like something like this, especially. So
Appreciate
good shit, man.
All love. All love.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fucking that.
That's that.
My guy.
Life's never that bad.
Life's never that
you,
bad.
man. A conversation, a conversation.
You got damn right.